The NBA schedule is out and the storylines hit immediately. Kevin Durant returning to Phoenix. Anthony Davis makes his homecoming in LA. Big stars, big reunions, and one season that could start with fireworks. Let's break it down now in today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
To another edition of Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On Fridays, I'm your co-host, Jake Madison, at NOLA Jake on Twitter, and the host of the Locked On Pelicans podcast.
And I'm John Karalis, at John_Karalis on Twitter, host of the Locked On Celtics podcast.
I love this, John. The NBA schedule is out, which one just gets me excited in the first place. I can plan the next 6 months of my life out. I also think it's hilarious that we're on game night tonight. So we're going to be talking about the games that we're going to be talking about during the regular season.
That's right.
It's poetic, I think.
We're pre-talking about it.
Look, we're just getting warmed up. It's like preseason for us.
That's right.
Right now. So a couple of things that I want to look at, though, early on that jump out to me. Look, I'm a happy person. I like people coming together. Let's look at some big reunions from the schedule early, I think, that I find kind of interesting here. And I want to start with the Houston Rockets visiting the Phoenix Suns on November 24th. It's Kevin Durant returning to Phoenix. That actually a big deal or no?
I think this is actually a big deal because the way things went at the end of the his tenure in Phoenix, they tried to trade him. They wanted to trade him. He doesn't forget slights. We've seen him online. If you say something and he doesn't like it, he's going to say it. And if he's so his feelings about Phoenix are going to be known pretty quickly. So I think this is a big deal for him. I think it's going to be a big deal for the young guys on the Suns on the Rockets to see how KD handles that. Honestly, if KD just treats it like another game and doesn't go crazy in that game and just like, you know what, it is what it is. And like, if the best thing for him would be if we're disappointed in that game, because I think it shows the Rockets and those young guys poise. And like,
that's a good way to put it.
There's a lot of noise around you and people are focusing on this thing. We, the Rockets, have a bigger goal in mind. I'm not going to let my stuff get in the way of our stuff. So it is a big deal for the Rockets for KD to kind of set a tone and be like, this is about Houston, the whole name on the front thing. So if he can do that and he can show them that, I think with all of the noise and all of the media surrounding it, and if he could just be laser focused, I think that actually can set a nice tone for the Rockets season.
Yeah, and it's an early enough game, right? You're still about the first month in or so when this happens. So you still have like plenty of season. It's not like something that, like sets the tone late for the playoffs. It's like, this is going to matter the way he kind of approaches this for the regular season. I'm going to be very curious just to see what the reaction from the Phoenix fans are with him as well. Another one in late November I want to get into, the Dallas Mavericks at the Los Angeles Lakers. Anthony Davis playing his first game in LA since that trade. He was injured when they made that trip last year. He's going to get a standing ovation. They're going to do a nice little tribute video. I expect that one just to be like happiness all around.
Happiness for everything. By the way, today's show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Anthony Davis, I think, can be a little bit more selfish than Kevin Durant.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like he can set a tone and all of that stuff. Cooper Flag, it's important, but I don't know if like the Mavs aren't in the same kind of boat as the Rockets. And I think AD might feel a little way about the way this all went down. Like the trade, obviously, when the Luka Doncic situation presents itself and you're the Lakers, you're like, yeah, sure. Like you just kind of hope AD understands, but also like, I don't know. I feel like he might have like been blindsided by it. And that,
Oh, he was definitely blindsided by it, right? Like, I don't think there's a question about that.
I just think that that's a situation where he might, it's not that he has something to prove, but he might have like the, that chip on his shoulder for that particular game. Like you don't have anything to prove when you're Anthony Davis, but when you get moved like that, when they're like, oh yeah, we're willing to give you up for Luka Doncic, it's like, hey, we could have done something here, and I'm going to show you what we could have done.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's like, he wants to prove a point, right? It's like stick it to him a little bit, which is kind of what we expect in sometimes kind of all of these games. We'll say looking at the schedule for the Mavs is kind of interesting too. They have a lot of home games early, a lot of away games late. I wonder how that's going to play for Cooper Flagg. Rookies tend to hit that kind of wall. It's a big jump from what you're playing in college to 82 games, hopefully for him in a regular season. I like it early for him to get him off to a good start. I do worry about Cooper Flagg fading late in the season this year.
Yeah. And, I think one of the things that's going to hurt that's rookies have to deal with now that you didn't have to deal with quite the same way before. The way the schedule breaks down because of the NBA Cup.
Yeah.
You've got your like November, December, like the rookies coming out hot, no problem, because there's a lot of time off in December, because right now, what is it? It's 80 games on the schedule, not 82.
It's 80 on the schedule. So if you're looking at your favorite teams, there's only 80 games, and there's a break of about 10 days in mid-December right now that will get filled with 2 games for basically every team.
Right. So, but I look at like the Celtics schedule, because I just wrote about that for my my job and my podcast. You've got not only that whole week that's blocked off, they got 2 days off before a game. They got another set of 3 days off. You've got a bunch of time off in that December. So going back to the Cooper Flagg thing, all of these stretches of 2 and 3 days off, that's great for a rookie. But the flip side is 16 games in January, right? You have the All-Star break in February. So March is your next opportunity to get a bunch of games in. 16, 17 games in March. So you're a rookie. January comes around and it's just like every other day, 3 games in 4 nights, 5 games in 7 nights. Finally, you get the All-Star break. You're like, oh, and then March comes around. You're like, oh my God. It just, here it is, relentless every other day again, 2 and 3, 3 and 4 nights. So I can see why they're starting to fade and why it's important for a guy like Cooper Flagg. I mean, anybody that's making a run for the Rookie of the Year, pile up your stats early, capture the national
cruise a little bit at that
right
point.
Away. Yeah, like make everybody be like, oh, it's his to lose. And then when you fade a little bit, it's just like, well, he hit a wall, but he was so good earlier that you kind of locked it up kind of early.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of what I'm expecting for Cooper Flagg and the Mavericks this year. Couple more returns that I want to look at before we shift to rivals that are maybe not actually rivals here. The Bucks at the Pacers, November 3rd. Miles Turner back in Indiana. Does that move you at all?
No.
Like, not at all.
No. Miles Turner not being an Indiana Pacer has been a storyline for all but 1 or 2 years of his career. Yeah. Like I think we've all kind of gotten to that point. And so
we've all processed the breakup years ago.
Yeah. We get it. So no, it does not move me at all. I don't know how it's going to go in Indiana, but I'm like
2 more. So, what about the Magic at Grizzlies, January 18th, Desmond Bane making his return to Memphis?
He's going to have a nice little video tribute.
Yeah, just like a nice moment, and that's about it.
That'll be nice.
Final one, January 28th, Lakers at Cleveland. LeBron's final game in Cleveland ever?
Oh, no, because he's gonna
play more.
He's gonna finish his career for on a 2-year deal with the Cavs. Of course, we all know that's coming, right?
Yeah. we get sent the script in advance. So yeah, we'll see that in a couple of years here.
We've got the foreshadowing with everything. The Luka thing. LeBron isn't happy with all of this. He's gonna. Yeah, no, I don't know. It may be his last time in Cleveland. I don't think he'll treat it like his last time in Cleveland, because it might not be.
All right, coming up, there's a Rivals Week in the NBA. Did you know that? Because the schedule doesn't really tell you that this is Rivals Week. We're going to break it down. It's coming up here next in today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth. So whether it's 401ks, property, investments, and when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Look, I'm planning a wedding. We're making sure things are getting paid. Managing your money with your partner, super easy with Monarch Money. And I like that it's just got all my accounts in one place, because if I got to go to different apps and things, I'm just not going to do it. This makes it that simple. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNBA. And thank you for making a Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day. We are here Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday. It's the off season. We're still getting into, it's like preseason for me right here. We're covering all the games that we will be watching here, but make sure you go to your favorite team's podcast for a full schedule breakdown. I know John's doing it over at Locked On Celtics. I did it over at Locked On Pelicans. The number of back-to-backs, the strength of schedule, rest advantages, rest disadvantages. All of our hosts are going to show you the key games and the stats you need to know about the schedule. Make your favorite Locked On, or your favorite team's Locked On show your second listen today. All right, John, there's a Rivals Week in the NBA, which I don't know if people know about. The week of January 20th. We'll talk about the national TV slate a little bit more in the next segment here. But you and I, when we were planning out the show, looked at this, and like the immediate reaction was, huh?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Well, we know that the NBA is built on the back of historic rivalries like Celtics, Lakers. And like Cavs and Hornets, obviously.
Duh,
right? It's like, yeah, of course.
Rockets, Pistons, storied NBA rivalry.
Oh my God. The Rockets, Pistons. Oh man, we can go on. How about the Warriors and Timberwolves? Just long running. Oh, that's actually not so bad, but
that one's not as bad as some of the other ones here.
Yeah, but the point is here, there is no Lakers Celtics in this. There's no. I think there are rivalries that you can try to build. Like Spurs Rockets is a nice. You get the Texas thing. Could have been Rockets Mavs. Could have been Spurs. Like. Fine.
Spurs Mavs being one of the opening games, I think precludes it from being here, but like that would have been my pick. But that would at least make some sense. Yeah.
But Spurs Rockets, I get it. I have nothing against trying to build new rivalries with teams, with young guys that will be there for a while, and you're theoretically, and you can kind of build that up as a regional rivalry that you can sell year after year after year. No problem. It's a marketing thing. Rivalries are just marketing things anyway. So fine. No problem. But Cavs Hornets, is that the best you can do?
There's actually like a shocking lack of like Eastern Conference teams in this, like playing each other really. And it's very bizarre to me.
There is a shocking lack of Eastern Conference teams in a lot of this national teams.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. We know why. Because the Cavs are, obviously a top-notch team, but Cleveland is not the most sellable market. And aside from Donovan Mitchell, there's not a lot of like high wattage star power. They have a great team, but like, does Evan Mobley move the needle in jersey sales and all that other stuff? Like, not like some of these, not like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, small market MVP, obviously, but like, so it's tough for the Cavs. You got New York, but you put them in here once. You couldn't,
like, how do you not get like Knicks Pistons again after the playoff series they just had, or put some of these teams that are likely going to play each other in the playoffs? I mean, some of them with the West, like, all could play out that way, but like the Thunder played the Bucks and the Pacers in Rivals Week, which just seems weird to me.
Why put the 76ers out there? I guess it's Joel Embiid and Paul George. Like, give me Knicks Bulls. At least you can throw me some old Jordan John Starks highlights. Like, you like do something like that if you want to be rivals. This is, I don't know. You don't even know if Embiid is going to play. You don't even know if Paul George is going to play. I don't know. I feel like the rivals thing was not really thought out the way it should be. It's if there's a miss in the NBA scheduling, it's that Rivals Week does not really scream rivalries to me.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, the way you kind of do this, it's either got to be two young up and coming teams in the same conference that you presume will have playoff battles in the future in more than 1 year. And look, you get some of that, right? When you have the Warriors, Timberwolves in there, those are teams that have fought in the playoffs a lot recently. So like that makes some sense to me. Lakers, Clippers makes some sense. But like, it just seems like you want to get kind of two teams that are on the same level, and Warriors put at Mavs, like, ain't it, right? Like, that's not the same timeline kind of thing. One is, in theory on the ascent in the Mavericks, while one's kind of on the downswing in the Warriors. Like, that doesn't scream rival. It's teams in the same conference that are likely going to be in the same division, that are kind of like at the same level of their development kind of thing, is what this feels like it should be. Yeah.
Why don't we see an Orlando Detroit?
Yeah, that's a great one.
An Orlando Detroit. Where's Orlando in all of this? So we're talking about selling a team. Here are the Orlando Magic. They just got Desmond Bane. They have Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner. I still have my feelings about Franz Wagner, and I think whatever. I'm not going to go down that road. They have a good team. They're an up and coming team. They just beat the snot out of the Celtics in the first round of the playoffs and kind of made a statement about like, hey, look at how we are defensively. The Pistons historically defensively, like this has the makings of a slugfest, really tight playoff level game. These are two teams that are going to be fighting theoretically as the Cavs get expensive and as the Celtics kind of figure out and who knows, start to teeter, and the Knicks maybe start getting too expensive. The Pistons and the Magic are two of the next tier of teams in this whole second apron era that you're trying, they're the ones that are going to ascend. Why not start that now? This is a great opportunity. I know you put the Rockets to get, Amen and Asar Thompson against each other, but is that your sellable thing? Is that really going to sell that game? I'd rather see Orlando and Detroit and give me the future powers of the Eastern Conference now, a year, 2 years, or whatever, before they actually fight it out for the top two seeds.
Yes, I fully agree with you. Like, it's like they overthought it, or they didn't know what to do, and they just look. There's a number of gimmicks in the schedule, right? Like the NBA Cup is a gimmick. I like that gimmick. The play-in tournament's a little bit of a gimmick. It was like, oh, these gimmicks have worked. Let's try and create another gimmick and see if it'll generate some excitement. But like, this is just not it compared to some of the other things.
You know what this is? They can't do what we're saying because all of these outlets, Peacock, Prime, ABC, ESPN, and NBC, all these different places to go watch these games. Well, we want the Lakers because we want at least some guaranteed bang for our buck because there's a lot of money being laid out. And the people at Amazon are like, no, we want the Lakers and the Warriors. And ABC, well, no, we want the Lakers and the Warriors. And NBC's like, no, we want the Lakers and the Warriors. And they're like, okay. You all get the Lakers. Okay, you all get like the Warriors.
He said last week they want Luka to win MVP in LA. They're dying for it.
That's right. So everybody gets a taste of the big markets, And then let's try to sprinkle in, okay, here's a little Pistons, here's a little Anthony Edwards, Minnesota, here's a little Victor Wembanyama, here's a little this, here's a little that. It still doesn't explain the freaking Charlotte Hornets, but it still, I guess LaMelo Ball. That's the
Charlotte catching strays here.
I'm sorry, man, and I
no, there's no reason they should be in there.
But,
this.
I hope they do well. I like
policy.
Charles Lee, but my point is, there's a million outlets here, and they all are like, yeah, no, we don't want Orlando, Detroit, even though basketball heads might be like, yeah, that's great. We want real numbers. Like, this is like a movie theater saying, or a movie studio saying, we don't want your original screenplay. We want another Marvel movie. Give me another Marvel movie. No, we all want Marvel movies. We all want that. We all want reboots. That's what this is with all of these outlets.
Well, all of those outlets make it kind of tough, it feels like, to watch the NBA this coming season, particularly if your team has a lot of national TV games. Let's take a look at that coming up here next in today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night. And thank you for making Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day. We are here 7 days a week. We will be covering every single game that was released in the NBA schedule right here. So please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Join us on YouTube as well. Become an everydayer. Let us know in the comments down below as well. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. There's going to be a ton of big stories too. Don't forget, you've got Locked On NBA, the midday show here that covers the biggest stories around the association during the regular season. When all of that's going to be shifting on a night-to-night basis, make Locked On NBA your second listen today. All right, John, the national schedule is out too, and I'm going to be honest, I'm confused. I'm confused. Now, this doesn't apply to me as much because the New Orleans Pelicans only have 2 national TV games. But if you're a team like the Lakers, the Mavericks, or one of those top teams, the Oklahoma City Thunder, that have 30-plus national TV games, it is very confusing with Peacock and NBC now in the mix. Prime has games too. So let's play what we do on Fridays here, real or fake.
Is this real or fake? Just ask John and Jake.
So, real or fake, John, it's going to be a struggle to keep up with watching the NBA this season with the way the new national TV schedule is set up. So
real, the realest reel that we've ever reeled. This is, I just put this in here. I'm going to share this on the YouTube page. It is the watch guide from the league that they put out in their NBA PR. And it tells you, this is so confusing.
Yes.
But I'll read it out for the people on the audio. It's the whole week, and it's telling you, okay, on Sundays, games might be on ABC, NBC, Peacock. On Mondays, the national games all season, Peacock. On Tuesday, NBC and Peacock. On Wednesday, it's ESPN. On Thursday, it's Prime. On Friday, it's Prime or ESPN. And on Saturday, it's Prime and or ABC. Got it? No, you don't. Because what? Where? Who? And I just got my notice that Peacock is getting more expensive because of this. So, yeah, this is going to take some time. This is going to be tough to be like, what's a Peacock? Where do I watch this? How do I watch this? I do not want to watch this on my iPad. How can I watch this on TV? How do I, there's going to be a lot of older people that are just like, you know what? Not watching basketball today.
There's a lot of gray on this show as is. So yeah. we might be those older people when it comes to it here. No, it's confusing, right? And not only that, but on the days of the week when you have 2 channels, or 2, I don't know, whatever you want to call them here. Some are the afternoon games, and then some are the night games, right? That's what's so weird about this is we'll figure this out eventually. But the bigger thing is, look, if you're a Mavs fan, if you're a Thunder fan, it just got a lot more expensive to watch every game your team is playing this year by virtue of your team being interesting and or good here. Look, for me in New Orleans, doesn't matter. 2 national TV games that are on ESPN and Peacock, got it. No problem. Don't need to really worry about it overall. But if you have a good team, this is going to be a pain. And what if, we haven't even talked about what the playoff schedule is going to look like with it and how it's going to impact that and fragment things. And for a league that wants people watching the games, and we don't get into the ratings talk too much because I think that's a lot overblown at times, but there is a lot of talk about that. And if people don't know where to find the games or don't want to pay for another service to watch them, you worry what that's going to do for things like ratings. That does have somewhat of an impact on everything. Here
you are excluding certain people because you now have to have another app, and you can say it's only $10 a month, but not everybody can swing $10 a month to watch a basketball game. If you're really budgeting out down to the dollar, you might be like, we're just not going to get Peacock. We're going to miss 10 games this season, and I'm sorry. And that's how it's going to be. People have Amazon. People shop on Amazon all the time. Not everybody has Prime. Prime is not cheap. And you can be like, well, you also get your free deliveries. Like, okay, yeah, great. But also I don't want all that stuff. So there's going to be, I think, just it's going to take some time for all of this to find its level. It's just not going to be easy right away. And we've seen it. NFL has games on Prime. The numbers are lower than your regular games. Other sports are all over the place. We're just going to have to hope that people care enough about these matchups, which, going back to the thing before, that's why all these Lakers fans and Warriors fans, you want to see Steph and LeBron and Luka. That's why those outlets wanted those games, because as much as I sat there and said Orlando and Detroit would be a much more reasonable matchup to build up the eventual anticipation and all that, it's not selling on these outlets. You need these big names to get people to be like, fine, I'll download the freaking app. Let's, I just want to see this game. But it's going to take some time to build these habits.
Yeah, I definitely think it will. I think this is like kind of a season of transition when it comes to that, and there might be some more tweaks in the future when it comes down to it. But it's going to be weird. Like, it's going to be really weird trying to kind of figure this out and get into like a new rhythm. You're used to like the voices that you want to listen to as well, that kind of become part of like they're almost comforting. So with new broadcasters and things, like all that gets just different.
Here's where it gets like really expensive, because not everybody buys League Pass like we do. Right. We just do it because it's a function of the job. We got to have all the games. There are fans, and I know this about Celtics fans, because Celtics are one of those legacy teams like the Lakers, the Bulls, the Knicks, that they have fans everywhere. And you can't all afford League Pass. So you just say, all right, they're going to be on TV 25, 30 times. I'll watch 25 to 30 games, Celtics games. Maybe I'll get an illegal stream here or there. But now there's the TNT games are gone. Those are all behind an app now. You have to pay for that stuff. And so those people who are like, no, I've already paid for my cable or YouTube TV service and all that, I don't want to pay for anything else. So you're shutting out some of the fans who are kind of like on the brink of, they can't watch all the games anyway. How many of those fans are getting squeezed out?
Well, look, think about it this way. If you can't watch the games for whatever reason, we're going to be covering it all here, right here on Locked On NBA Game Night, because the tagline is every game, every night. So we will still be covering every single game. If you can't watch it, just come listen to Locked On NBA Game Night and we got you.
That's it. We'll be here.
We're going to be here every Friday, 7 days a week for Locked On NBA Game Night. And that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On NBA Game Night. Appreciate y'all so much for listening on Fridays. I'm your co-host, Jake Madison, at NOLA Jake on Twitter, and the host of the Locked On Pelicans podcast.
And I'm John Karalis, at John_Karalis on Twitter, host of the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Appreciate y'all listening. We'll be back with y'all next week.